Good night, everybody. And I'm ducking low just because I want to get better lighting on this camera. But I want to talk a little bit about the boxing that we've been watching at. And once again, we have another upset for 2020. Adam Kawanaki was knocked out by Robert Helenius. Of course, Robert Helenius, like I said before, a solid boxer and someone who can counterpunch quite well. And in this case, what happened was that Kawanaki, he left himself open to get counterpunched as he was busy bringing the fight to Robert Helenius. Helenius rocked back and counterpunched him, checkhooked him, I think, stunned him. The fight was stopped with Kawanaki on his feet, but Helenius was going in for the kill. And Kawanaki is the only prediction I got wrong this time around, which is cool. I mean, I predicted him to win by stoppage, actually, to Robert Helenius because of the volume he threw. But this time he got knocked out by Robert Helenius. Incredible. And it happens in boxing a lot. And, you know, Charles Martin was talking about him being knocked out himself. And in the heavyweight division, one of the things that is nice about it is guys that keep on getting knocked out. So that's, I guess, what makes the division somewhat exciting. But Helenius was knocked out by Gerald Washington. Gerald Washington was knocked out by Charles Martin. Charles Martin was knocked out by Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua was knocked out by Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz has yet to be knocked out. You know, Andy Ruiz, of course, lost to Anthony Joshua in the rematch. Also lost to Joseph Parker. And then we have Deontay Wilder, who was knocked out by Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is yet to be knocked out, but he was dropped by Deontay Wilder, blacked out, didn't know anything. So, I mean, it's just one of those, you know, one of those divisions right now where guys are so exciting because they're vulnerable, as well as they are also very powerful. Of course, people are making defensive flaws. Adam Kawanaki obviously made a defensive flaw in attacking Robert Helenius. When he was going in for a kill to stop Robert Helenius, he got stopped himself. This happened to a number of fighters in boxing. You know, it happens, okay? Deontay Wilder was comprehensively outboxed, beaten up, and just bashed about the ring by Tyson Fury, right? Tyson Fury, if you remember in the first fight, was laid out cold by Deontay Wilder, got back up from that. So it's one of the, I think a lot of people don't realize that in boxing, especially with the guys, the certain type of talent and the fact that guys are making mistakes. Take, for instance, last year, or was it this year? I can't remember. I think it was last year. Jermell Charlo was beaten by Tony Harrison. And then in the rematch, Tony Harrison, making a mistake once again, was knocked out by Jermell Charlo. I think this is what makes boxing somewhat exciting because boxers are somewhat vulnerable. When you're a dominant boxer like a Lomachenko or like a Floyd Mayweather or like a Pernell Whitaker, where you're not really stopping people are not getting knocked out, it's not as exciting to the average fan. For me, it was very exciting because I love the science of boxing and just the skill in boxing. But the fashion in which Tyson Fury knocked out Deontay Wilder was just fantastic. Once again, though he did cheat, and for those people who want to defend him and say he didn't cheat, you have to ignore a lot of evidence. But the brilliance of the guy still is what you have to be in awe of it. And if you love boxing, you love the brilliance of him. So the other fights that I predicted would, the winners happened the way how it was. Frank Sanchez beat Joey Dawidchenko. There was no competition. Then we had Frank Sanchez, and then we had Ajay Ajaiba, who won his fight, stopped his opponent. And then, beautifully, O'Connell stopped. He stopped Scott Quigg. impressive. In the 11th round, they just called out the fight. O'Connell didn't just brawl, he boxed. And he boxed brilliantly. And, I mean, he just did a number on Scott Quigg. Brilliant performance by Jono O'Carroll, sorry. And then we also had one more fight, Matchroom. I forgot what it was. You guys probably know which fight that was. But it was a good fight. And right now you're hearing in the background a lot of birds. So we have a lot of birds in the nighttime that come through. They make their little stuff. They stop off. They poop. They sing. They chatter. And then they go their way. So that's what you're hearing. This is the afternoon time. It's like 6-something in the afternoon. I'm in the back here, chilling. The back needs a little bit of cleaning out. I still have to get some grass done out here, and I have to do some work on the inside. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about that, man. Yeah, Championship Boxing Channel. Yep, upset loss yesterday by Kawanaki. Yet another upset for the year. You know what I like about these fights is that now you can't really predict who's going to win. I remember when Anthony Joshua lost to Andy Ruiz. Just great stuff, man. I just love it. And I love just how boxing is so unpredictable. Like, we try to predict fights, and now we can't really predict fights because guys have a certain degree of vulnerability to them. So, once again, I just talk from a love of the sport. I don't really care about people talking about PBC or, DAZN. PBC's fine, DAZN's fine, Top Rank's fine, ESPN's fine. You guys just, I'm not into that. I'm not into negativity. I'm going to stay positive from here on in and just focus on the positive. So, I just really enjoy these fights, looking forward to more fights like this where it's kind of it's not a level playing field, but, you get to see guys fight and you actually think you know who will win, but you don't really know who will win because the other guy has come to fight too. Helenius said he trained like crazy for this fight. Obviously, they're going to have a rematch, and we'll see how Kawanaki does in that. But it's just great. I mean, we're going to have a rematch with Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury did what we never expected. Nobody expected Tyson Fury to bring the fight to Wilder, but I kind of expected it to in spots. I didn't expect him to just really bring the heat like that. It was beautiful. And nobody expected Deontay Wilder to, really have that much difficulty with Tyson Fury. I just loved it. I loved it because this is what boxing's about. By the way, guys, you can hit the like button, and if you want to, subscribe to my channel. So I'm probably going to stay on the positive side of things from here on in when I do my videos. I want to show you guys a piece of scripture. It goes as Philippians 4, verse 7. It says, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things of good report, think on these things. So that's where I'm kind of going with my life from here on in. And hope you guys enjoy the ride. We're trying to stay a little bit positive and not so much negative anymore. But I enjoyed the fight. I actually enjoyed the fight watching it. And the surprise when Robert Helenius caught Kawanaki, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Kawanaki was pretty much dominating most of the fight, and then Helenius just caught him with that beautiful counter. And it's all she wrote. I mean, and that's the beauty of boxing. That's why I said to people, you make one mistake or one error, and it could cost you your life, or it could cost you the fight, or it could cost you, you can get knocked out with just one blow. That's the beauty of boxing. You have to be on and focused for the entire fight. And that's what you guys should respect guys like Terrence Crawford, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, guys who've been on the scene for a little minute, like Sean Porter. And Sean Porter got dropped because he lapsed in concentration against Errol Spence for 1 minute, 1 second. That's how he got dropped. And he's a strong guy, And then when you look at, just look at the guys who are at the top of their game and stay at the top. Even Lomachenko, you got to have a lot of respect for the guy, because Lomachenko could have been beaten by Luke Campbell. He found a way to win. He found a way to win, but Luke Campbell could have pulled that upset. You know what I mean? And now he has a tough fight against Teofimo Lopez, and we don't know. I mean, you guys could say you have an idea of who's going to win that fight because Lomachenko has experience. We don't know who's going to win that fight, and I love these kinds of fights. I love a fight where I don't know who's going to win. You know? And now Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford is even more appetizing because we don't know who's going to win. We're hearing about Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao possibly. That's a good fight again. I don't know who will win. I love these fights. You know, Manny Pacquiao has shocked me with the Heath Thurman fight when he dropped him early. So, I mean, you just can't rule out Manny Pacquiao. You know, it might be a tough fight for Manny Pacquiao. You just never know. The next guy, he's preserving himself very well and so on. So, I mean, this is the kind of thing in boxing. What do you guys want to talk about right now before I go inside? I got to water these plants, and then I have some other things I have to do, some people to contact, but I want to hear what you guys got to say about this. Intangible boxing, what's up, my dude? The PBC might generally be on its last legs. I don't think so, but maybe you believe that because Wilder got lost and I guess Kawanaki. I ain't saying that out of hate. I hear you, man. But really, all the PBC has left is Errol Spence and Gervonta Davis and maybe Gary Russell Jr. And there's Leo Santa Cruz, and there's, oh, by the way, Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz could be a really great fight, actually. I think people are really, they're counting out Leo. Leo's been training for the longest while, if you guys haven't been paying attention. Helenius was just wasted talent. Fought a bad fight versus Chisora, dipped and got KO'd versus Duhaupas. Yeah, and even Gerald Washington, he got caught. But he got caught cold against Gerald. Gerald could box a bit. But, you know, Helenius is also, I think, a PBC fighter, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, it is what it is. Championship Boxing Channel, I expect to see a fresher Wilder next fight. Yeah, I think Wilder's going to make some adjustments. I heard he's going to take on Foreman. He's going to have Foreman kind of helping him out. They're talking about Joe Goosen, you know, Mayweather offered, and so on. I think he's going to get a combination of people to help him with this fight. But his core guy is still going to be Mark Breland. I mean, have you guys ever seen footage of Mark Breland and his fights? You'll notice very much high similarities between Breland's attack approach and Wilder's attack approach. Breland's a little bit wild with his shots as well and looping when he really starts to go on the attack, but he's a lot more accurate than Wilder. But Wilder patterned everything after Mark Breland. Mark Breland's like his core. So what Wilder might have is somebody to advise him and tweak him, but I mean, his core is Mark Breland. He really does well to stay with Mark and just follow Mark Breland. That's my personal opinion. I don't know what your opinion is. Tangible Boxers, I just can't see Errol Spence beating Manny Pacquiao. Errol either A, shouldn't fight this year, or B, take a tune-up. I mean, who are we to really judge what the fighter does? I mean, they have to know their bodies and know themselves best. I understand where you're coming from, Intangible, in the sense that, you know, he just came off an accident. They still don't really know, but the only way they really would know is to push him as far as possible in training. I guess that's why they haven't picked a fighter yet. They're just kind of trying to get him in shape and get him up to mark and see where he's at. But to be honest with you, let's say he's really in bad shape. Which you prefer? A tune-up fight where he gets beat and he doesn't make a whole set of money, or he goes straight back into championship fight where he can make more money? You know, and if it's a pay-per-view, he can get pay-per-view on the end. He fights a top-tier guy, he probably gets beat, but, you know, he doesn't suffer that much damage. I mean, in my opinion, risk versus reward is, you know, a big fight is better than a tune-up fight in which you get beat. You know, people are getting upset with tune-up fights now. You know, so you just never know. I mean, Helenius versus Kawanaki, nobody expected Kawanaki to lose like that. And he did, and that was a eliminator for the WBA belt that Anthony Joshua has. So, you know, the mandatory position. Now Helenius is in that position, which is great for Helenius. I mean, I always knew he was a good fighter, you know. But, you know, his confidence, he was talking about his confidence and stuff like that. You know, so many things go into boxing, you know, your confidence, it has to do with your conditioning. Take, for instance, Charles Martin was talking about the fact that, you know, some of these guys are juicing. He talks about how he hates cheaters. Imagine you going up into a fight against a guy that's juicing, okay? The guy's stronger than you and everything. He could physically manhandle you. Skill wouldn't do it, right? He could still beat you down. Think Mildred Taylor versus Buddy McGirt. I'm going way back in time there. Buddy McGirt's outboxing Mildred Taylor, but Mildred Taylor, every punch he hits him, he's wearing out Buddy McGirt because what? Mildred's much stronger, right? So, you know, it is what it is. You know, Championship Boxing Channel says, if we're if we're basing Errol off his last pass, I would favor him over Pacquiao. I mean, a lot of people favor him over Pacquiao. I get what you guys are saying. I get what you guys are saying. But I'll just say this though. Oh, by the way, don't forget to smash that like button if you like what you're hearing. Also, if you do want to, you can always donate to my channel via Western Union MoneyGram, and you can subscribe to my channel as well if you so wish. You don't have to. I never put pressure on people to do anything. Just putting it out there. Intangible boxing. Leo, in my opinion, is okay fighter benefiting from the selection of belts. Davis should KO him. He's been beating the living daylights out of girl to train for Leo too. I would say this. I would say don't count Leo out. I remember counting out Leo against Abner Mares. I thought Abner Mares would just do the work on him. I thought Leo was just a busy fighter fighting on the inside, and Abner Mares would tear him apart. And then Leo showed me that he could use a jab, and he could use a jab very well. And also, Leo in the amateurs actually beat Adrian Broner. For those people who don't know, yeah, Leo beat Adrian Broner. That's right. So if he could do that to Adrian Broner, and we know the Broner of old was really great, and in the amateurs, Leo beat him. If Leo could do that to Adrian Broner, I think we're underestimating him in some degree. And so I don't know what weight they'll have the fight at, but whatever weight they have the fight at, Leo's going to be ready for it. And I think people are underestimating. And the thing about Leo is he's a volume puncher. He's strong. People don't realize Leo's a pretty big dude. You know, he's kind of staying in the lower weight classes, but he's actually a pretty physically big dude. But so I'm not counting him out, especially after Robert Helenius knocked out Kownacki. I'm not going to count him out at all. Okay. And I know Gervonta looks great and he's sharp and everything, but I don't know how his discipline is, like you guys talk about. And he sometimes comes in and he's so big in between fights, you know, he blows up so big, you know, and he has to get back into shape in between fights. I don't know really if, you know, Leo is a lot more disciplined than Gervonta, and I think that discipline is something that makes a big difference in boxing. You know, Gary Russell Jr. is talking about that. You know, Gary Russell Jr. is a guy that's extremely disciplined. And you look at the Russell Jr. brothers, Gary Russell Jr. brothers, and they're very disciplined, and they're doing quite well as well in boxing. So you have to pay attention to the Gary Russell Jr. family and what kind of history they might make. But you know, you have to pay attention to discipline. You can't be ballooning up to these huge weights in between fights. And we all know Gervonta Davis, like, he likes to pack it down. He likes to eat. So, you know, that's a problem. And so, you know, these last couple of years, we've been seeing all kinds of upsets, right? The playing field kind of is getting closer and closer together. So, you know, I'm just saying. Intangible Boxing says pressure gets to Manny. Yeah, I mean, how many pressure fighters has Manny fought? Like, he's made a career fighting pressure fighters. Think about it. Like, think about the guys who he does best with are pressure fighters, guys who bring pressure to him so he can counterpunch them. Remember, Manny Pacquiao is a counterpuncher by heart, and he's a skillful, tricky, unorthodox counterpuncher. Even when he's fighting in a more orthodox boxing way, he's still and he's so explosive. So I don't know, bringing the fight to Manny Pacquiao is always a good thing. You know, Juan Manuel Marquez was a counterpuncher. The guys who counterpunch, like Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, Floyd Mayweather, Juan Manuel Marquez, these guys have been very successful against Manny Pacquiao. Even Eric Morales, when he fought Manny Pacquiao, was mostly counterpunching him. So I think when you can get Manny Pacquiao to come to you, I think that's when he's most vulnerable. But the problem with it is he's so explosive and fast and he comes off of some strange angles that you have to understand what he does and how he fights. But if you're going to fight him, you know, say you're going to go to him and bring pressure, that's his greatest joy. You know, I think that's his personal opinion, because I don't know how many. That's how I see Manny Pacquiao. Championship Boxing says Manny had tough fights with Horn, Errol, and Crawford beats Manny, in my opinion. You might be right. You might be wrong. I can't really say. This is Manny Pacquiao. He has improved since the Jeff Horn fight, I think. But I think I don't think he was mentally prepared for the Jeff Horn fight. He was going in there, and I don't think he was ready for Jeff Horn. I think if he knew the strategy of Jeff Horn, I think he'd have made more room, and you would have seen more of what round 9 looked like than the rest of the fight. I think he'd have sidestepped him and created space. When Jeff Horn kind of does the awkward, you know, two-step and again feint and then come in, he would have probably timed that and then caught him with some more shots, like he did in round 9. But I don't think Pacquiao was actually prepared for that fight properly. Championship boxing, Adrian Broner, the biggest waste of talent. Yeah, but he's still a phenomenal guy. You know, he's 4-divisional world champion. That's very hard to do. Okay, we're seeing more boxers today like Leo and Abner Mars and more boxers today doing that. But this guy did it from, you're talking about a guy did it from super featherweight all the way up to welterweight. That's impressive. And yeah, he fought some guys who were good fighters, not really the top tier guys. When he fought the top tier guys, he got beat. But he fought them all. He fought Manny Pacquiao. You know, he fought Sean Porter. Mercy. Now we all know Sean Porter's a beast, all right? He fought Sean Porter. He fought Marcos Maidana. Look at the beast this guy fought, okay? Fought Paulie Malignaggi, you know. Some argue that Paulie beat him, but, you know, that was at welterweight. He also fought some other guys that were good fighters, but not really recognized like that in the various divisions. Some guys were really great superstars like DeMarco and, you know, Gavin Reese for a period of time. They were something, and he beat those guys like they were nothing. But, you know, we don't know. We don't hear about Gavin Reese anymore. We kind of hear about DeMarco, but he's kind of retired from boxing now. So I agree with you. Championship Boxing Channel says potential matchup: Shakur Stevenson versus Colbert. I want to see Shakur Stevenson versus the UK champ. That's who I want to see. And I think negotiations are underway for that. But that's the fight I want to see. I forgot what the guy's name is. You guys know who I'm talking about. Josh Warrington. I want to see Josh Warrington versus Shakur Stevenson. You know, I think Gary Russell Jr. is too much for both of them. But Shakur Stevenson versus Josh Warrington is a good fight. Any day, any day, any day, any day. All day, every day of the week. It's a good fight. You know, Josh Warrington is very strong. Shakur Stevenson has some skill. I would like to see who would win that fight. That's my watering fight. That's my fight that makes me salivate. Of course, Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor is also another great fight that I would love to see, especially women's boxing. By the way, happy International Women's Day to all women out there. I hope you guys had a good day. Championship Boxing said he had enough talent to beat Porter, but he didn't trust himself. But Porter brings such a sudden, unanticipated pressure that you find yourself clinching up on him. You know, he doesn't allow you as a boxer to create that space you really want. And he makes you very uncomfortable so that you either clinch up or you get beat up. You know, look how he beat up Paulie. You know, Sean Porter ran through Paulie Malignaggi. And Paulie Malignaggi is like known as the guy for the jab. One thing about Paulie knows how to jab. And Porter ran through him like it was nothing. You know? So, I mean, look how he ran through Andre Berto. You know, that's the Porter we're talking about. So, Adrian Broner, in some respects, I think in the catchweight fight, I think he kind of did okay. You know, so that's just my opinion on that. I don't know what your opinion is, but, you know, Adrian Broner, defensively, he's pretty good. He just doesn't let his hands go, or he doesn't know how to let his hands go. He seems to go defensive, and he can just do defense, and then he can go back to offense. I think that's his problem. His problem is he doesn't know how to mix his offense off of his defense. He can either go strictly offensive or strictly defensive. I think that's, maybe I'm wrong, but that's my assessment on him. And so what happens is he'll let you throw off your flurry of punches, and then he'll come and beat you down. And I've seen that. If you look at Adrian Broner's career, even at the lower weight classes, that's his strategy. So he rides out the storm, and then he comes and bullies you down. He starts breaking you down and just really beating you down. You know, that's what I think. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think he's not really like a a Juan Manuel Marquez or a Floyd Mayweather in that. Well, Marquez trades a lot more, or even a Danny Garcia. He's not like that, where he tries to catch you in between your flurries. He kind of defends and shells out and protects himself, from your flurries. And then when he's done, that's when he starts to bring his assault to the table. So he's not the counter-puncher kind of guy. He may throw a punch or two in between your shot, but he's very intentional, and he tries to ride it out with his defense more so than. Championship Boxing says, very good take. I don't know. I'm just saying. I really am not. What do I know about boxing? I predicted that Adam Kawanaki would knock out Robert Helenius, and Robert Helenius caught him, man. He caught him and he stopped him. And that's the beauty of boxing. You're not 100% sure till you match these two guys up. And then sometimes you need to have a number of fights. Like, for instance, Charles Martin was talking about a rematch with himself and Anthony Joshua. I would love to see that too. Charles Martin is a good, slick, southpaw heavyweight. He's really good, and he's slick. I knew that from a while ago. Okay, he won the IBF belt because the other guy got injured and couldn't continue. But, when you look at that fight, it was competitive, but I thought Charles was edging it, though. And then his fight with Anthony Joshua, Anthony Joshua was just too strong for him, You could see that Anthony Joshua was just too strong for him. And Charles has been doing some strength and conditioning and getting himself a bit stronger. But, Charles Martin's a good fighter. He's a good fighter, And if you guys haven't followed him, in his career, he's a good fighter. He is a good fighter. And I think sometimes we just don't know the whole story of what happens in fights. And what guy, there's a lot of cheating that goes on in boxing. That's all I'm going to say. And some of the top tier guys, if not a lot of the top tier guys in boxing, they're taking something. Let's be real. They're taking something. You can't be getting hit with certain shots and just be taking that. No, I don't buy that. And it's prevalent in boxing. They make Jarrell Miller look like he's the only one that does that, but there's a lot of them that do it. All right? So that's all I got to say about that. Anyway, guys, man, it was nice talking to you guys. Intangible Boxing, man, I hope you're doing well with your channel and stuff. I just want to stay a little bit more positive and give up positive vibrations to everybody. I want you guys to love the sport of boxing. I don't really want to be so negative about it. It's a great sport. It's a great thing to do. It's great for exercise. You don't have to punch people. Little shadow boxing and stuff. If you guys check out Coach Eric Bradley, the Fight Doctor of Master Boxing, go check that channel out. It's a great channel. And also, you guys can also check out Precision Striking. I always talk about these channels because they're really fantastic. They teach you how to box, right? So you don't only have to watch boxing, but you can actually start doing it. And I hope some of you guys will do some of the boxing because I'm telling you, man, it's great for your cardio. It gets your endorphins going. You really get a great day. You get into shape somewhat. And once you don't injure your hands and stuff, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic way to work out. And you actually feel much more composed. You're not as aggressive to people because, you spend a lot of energy doing these things. So anyway, that's what I got to say for now. I want to get some more videos to you guys. So I'm going to get some software so I can rip things off of like YouTube or whatever and start doing breakdowns again in my videos for you guys. And hopefully I can show you guys a new look of me the next time you see me. Well, maybe not, but let's see. Anyway, so the other fights, I think I said all the predictions for the other fights that I had. Basically got all the other fights right. But, that's why it's called an upset, ladies and gentlemen. And Robert Helenius really prepared for this fight. I'm so happy that he won. I feel a little bit bad for Adam Kawanaki, but, Aslam says, more boxing breakdowns would be good. We'll get you more views, too. I like the ones you did. Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of people view my videos that are breakdowns. Yeah, I'll try and do some of that for you guys. I guess you like guys like that. You like the science of boxing and stuff. So I'll try and get some of that in there. Also, I really wish that you guys would check out the channels I refer you guys to, um, because those channels really teach you a thing or two about boxing. Another guy who's really fun and he's doing very well on here is Showbiz the Adult. So check him out too. I don't always agree with him, but for the most part, this dude is doing a lot of good things for boxing. He's very positive, generally speaking, and he's doing a lot of good things for the boxing. And he's becoming a big channel on here, and that's great. So, anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Oh, one more thing. I did talk about the upcoming fights, but I want to also talk to you guys about some of the fights that you would like to see that I think may become a possibility within the month of April to May. So you guys can list out, if you want, I'll do a questionnaire, some of the fights that you would like to see in the month of April and May. Oh, by the way, John Casimiro, watch out for that dude. John Riel Casimiro, remember that name? That guy is trouble. John Riel Casimiro, remember that name? Remember I said it here first. I said he's trouble, okay? He's not a southpaw like Manny Pacquiao, but he does a lot of things in a much more controlled manner than Manny Pacquiao does. Watch out for that guy. That guy is trouble. And I believe they're going to try to have a unification fight between Naoya Inoue and John Riel Casimiro. And I'm hearing that the promoter, of Guillermo Rigondeaux, or manager, I don't know which one it was, promoter or manager of Guillermo Rigondeaux is interested also in Guillermo Rigondeaux facing the winner of that fight. Oh no, it's the trainer, Ronnie Shields. Honestly speaking, those two fights are probably going to be the most, in terms of the smaller weight classes, I think they're going to be the most explosive. I think they're going to be the most fantastic fights out of all the fights. The reason why I say that is because bantamweight is a division which they're small enough to be called small guys, but they're big enough to be called medium-sized, big, small guys. You know, they got a good enough size on them, and they're good enough to knock each other out. And I just think that Naoya Inoue is a fantastic fighter, but John Riel Casimiro is going to be a problem. A serious problem. And I think Guillermo Rigondeaux, I don't really see him. This is just me. I could be 100% wrong, but Rigondeaux facing any one of those two guys at this point in time in his career, I think it's going to be a lot for him to handle as well. And that's just great, because when you can think of three guys, and those three guys are a problem for each other, that's what you want in boxing. You want really a playing field with guys that are not that much better than each other. When a guy's significantly better than another guy, right? It could be exciting because he can get a knockout, but you always ask, who is this guy's nemesis? That's what Floyd Mayweather lacked to some degree. You know, they kind of made Manny Pacquiao a nemesis and dragged it out, but he never really faced Floyd. And when he did, it was... So, you know, Floyd never had that, you know. Pernell Whitaker didn't really have that either. You know, he had 2 fights with Buddy McGirt, but he didn't really have a nemesis. And that's the problem with being too good for the sport of boxing sometimes, or too good for your era. You don't really have a nemesis, you know. But when you have guys who competing and, you know, you get 2, 3, 4 fights out of it, and they're very exciting fights because you just never know who would win. Those are great fights, you know, and it takes a certain degree of being flawed as a fighter to have great fights like that. So that's what I got to say for now. So you guys, somebody just already put a comment here, but I'm gonna put up a poll, okay? Um, Haney versus Broner, says Aslam. Awesome fight. That would be a fantastic matchup, no doubt about it. I heard Devin Haney talking about something like that, and I also heard who was it? Devin Haney talking about a fight with Devin Haney going up in weight and fighting who was it? I can't remember who. But yeah, he did mention Broner. That's a good fight. I mean, Haney jumping up from lightweight to go to, say, super lightweight or welterweight and face Broner, that would be an interesting fight. But Dawes says, what's up? What's up, but Dawes? I got to go, though, guys. I'm so sorry about that. But I got to get out of here. 35 minutes in. That's pretty long for a live feed. Shout out to Intangible Boxing. Shout out to Get the Smoke. Shout out to... but Dawes says, how do you think boxers like Devin Haney deal with the pain during a fight? Just really quickly. Yeah, as Aslam says, when you have adrenaline, you're not really feeling it, or you do feel it. You feel when something snaps or jars or whatever, but you just kind of fight through the pain. You remember these guys fight through fatigue. They fight through pain. They keep their poker face. They fight through getting punched in the face. And they do this for long periods of time so they have that endurance. So, and punch to the body too. So, they're used to fighting through pain to some degree. And again, their minds are very strong. When you're mentally strong like that, you can fight through pain. And like you said, the adrenaline boost kind of nullifies that until after the fight. I think they suffer the most after fights, so yeah. Aslam, I had a boxing bout yesterday. You don't really feel it unless you get hit clean and it's a buzz. But yeah, I had head guards on. No cuts. The head guards don't truly protect you, so remember that, Aslam. Remember the power of the punch. The head guard will prevent you from getting cut or superficial bruising, but the head guard actually doesn't prevent you from the trauma of a punch. Think about it. It gives a bit of a shock absorber, but not much. It's not like an airbag. It's like you're still crashing. The fist is still crashing into your head, and your head is still getting knocked away, so your brain is still going to slam against your skull. Just unnatural. So, just letting you know, head guards don't really do that much. But you don't get cut as much. Yeah, no cuts, yep. But I fight without head guards. That's also dangerous. That's the only thing worse than that is bare knuckle brawling. But yeah, you get to see more when you don't have on the head guard, especially those head guards where you can't really get to see professional. That's why I can't breathe through the head guard that well. Yeah, but yeah, that's not. Once you're 19 years old, you don't have head guards on for some reason. Yeah, true. What you need, yeah, man. But it's a new level. But that says now I'm an amateur as 18-year-old, so my head guard comes off. You guys just piling on points right now, right? Anyways, man, I'm gonna catch you guys later. It was nice talking to you guys. So you can check out the polls, and yeah, I was seeing Ness. He was tired. He was facing a USBA champion, NABA USBA champion. And boy, the guy was just wearing him down with just sheer pressure. And Ness is just trying to pop the jab. He can't even pop the jab. He's moving around. He couldn't pace himself. He was drenched in sweat. I don't know how many rounds they went. But man, that was just, he's trying to get in shape and get himself in order for his fight that's upcoming. And I'm going to tell you this. He did marvelously well, better than I could ever do. And, but it's just a difference between a professional fighter and an amateur, a guy who's just doing it, This is so different, man. But says, I feel like going pro might as well get paid. Oh, just remember the pro game is different to the amateur game, my friend. So be very careful. You can get paid, but be brought out in a coffin, okay? So be very careful. I've been advised not to go pro as well myself, but we'll see how it goes. I thought it was 19, might only be in the UK. RIP. What weight are you at, Aslam? 64K, 5'8". I should probably move down in weight. 64K. What's 64K? What's that in pounds, people? Can you translate that for me in pounds? How much is that in pounds? I still don't know kilogram. I still stick with the old system of pounds. You guys are more metric. 141 pounds. Ooh, you're super lightweight. Cool, man. 5'8". You're good height too. Yeah. I always fight lanky southpaws. Wow. Impressive. But I was just 140 pounds. Yeah, super lightweight. He's a super lightweight. Yeah. Well, best of luck to you, brother. Hopefully you become a world champion if you decide to go pro. I don't know how many amateur fights you have, but damn, I'm 5'8" and I fight at 130 pounds. So you are a super featherweight. Super featherweight. Wow. Nice, man. I've never lean type, more stocky. Nice. Well, it's good to see two boxes on here. That's great. I wish you guys well with your careers. You're young, you're strong, you know. Take care of your bodies, feed your bodies right. Don't be using drugs and drinking alcohol and womanizing, all that stuff. You know, try to take that down. That's the stuff that can mess you up. You know, try to stay disciplined and keep doing what you're doing, man. You know, really, I'm not really a boxing expert, so please don't call me that. I'm just a normal, casual boxing fan that, you know, got some insight into boxing and likes to share it with other people. Sometimes I get a little too much in myself and my ego, and I start really bashing people, which is not good. But that's about to change, so don't worry. I hope you guys have a good night. It's nighttime here. There's a lamplight outside, so this is what the place looks like up there. You guys can't see it. I'm trying to stay out of the light so you guys can see what the place looks like. There's nice plants around. This is mulch. I'm sitting on a red sort of mulch. We cleaned it out. It looks really beautiful in the day. I'm trying to plant a lawn. Yeah, man. You know, I'll catch you later, guys. Fapping is bad for boxing. Do you agree? Tyson Fury was fapping, but he wasn't. I guess he was fapping, but he wasn't. He wasn't busting busting, as they say, busting a nut. He wasn't busting his nut. So probably he's fapping, and that's causing testosterone to be produced. Okay, but when you release the stuff from your system, I guess you lose some of the testosterone, so it drains you. So it depends on what you're talking about. You guys call it fapping. It's really funny. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't fap. I wouldn't. You know, guys try to find anything to get an edge. You know. But in my personal opinion, I don't think it's worth your while to fap. Try to keep yourself clean and healthy and just eat properly. You guys are young, man. You don't need to be doing that. You guys are young. You got a lot of energy. And the more you store up that energy, you store up for and do constructive things, the better. The healthier you are, the key here is really health. The healthier you are is the stronger you're going to be. Yes, your testosterone spikes after 7 days. Most of it is placebo, but whatever works for you. I don't think it's a good idea. Tyson Fury is an old guy anyway. He's like, what, 25, 26, 27, 28? You know, imagine not doing it for 3 or 4 months. Well, you're going to have energy like mad. Yeah, it's not a good thing for me, per se. I'm trying to just stay away from that stuff. You'd be a bull. Yeah, man. If you don't fap, yeah, you'd be a bull. Be strong as I. But you guys are strong, man. You haven't come into your man strength yet, but you guys are strong. Yeah, you don't need that. You don't need that. And the guys who cheat, they need to find out the guys who cheat, man, in boxing, because they're guys who take a lot of PEDs. PEDs are very prevalent in boxing, and I think Fury was joking about fapping 7 times a week. Like I said before, probably he's talking about just wanking off, but not necessarily, you know, that kind of thing. What's PED, bro? Lots of things. There's nandrosolone. What it does is it builds strength in your muscles and stuff. Aslam, woman, weakened legs. That's why Wilder got tired walking. Gap, he was with the wifey. He was with the wifey. He even said that a time ago. How he messed with the wife and then he went into a fight. Yep. We all know this. We don't even need to. He should not have been with the wifey. That's what he should have. Performance enhancing drugs at Badawas. Yeah, you don't want to really be messing around with performance enhancing drugs. That's cheating, man. You can find natural things that build strength, things. Let me tell you things that make you strong, okay? So things that make you strong are like green juices, using green juices. You can get it in the store anywhere, okay? Green juices make you strong. Drinking a lot of water, believe it or not, helps you to heal up fast. You don't feel injuries, you don't have joint pains, none of that stuff, because you drink a lot of water. So water is another very, very important thing. And other things that you guys are so young, you don't, but if you start off doing this would be great. A lemon, you squeeze a lemon in the water, a little bit of lemon, not too much, don't overdo it. Or you can just slice up your lemons and put them down in water. It's great. Again, it cleans you out, keeps your body well. You can use supplements. You can either use IVs to put the supplements in, it's much more expensive, or you can just use the supplements. We're talking about multivitamins and minerals. You want a really good supplement, okay? Now you got to be careful what supplements you use, because some of these supplements have PEDs in them. You see, PEDs are only for sports. So you can find, sometimes you get a supplement, a protein supplement. You talk about protein shakes a lot. A protein supplement which actually has a steroid or a hormone in it that you shouldn't be using. But you just pull it off the shelf, and like people like myself, we would be using it not knowing that it has that stuff in it. You have to check labels like crazy. So when you get a really good supplement that seems to be doing all these great things, make sure you know what all the ingredients in it, and you may have to look for unlisted ingredients even that they may put in those things. As an athlete, you have to check and monitor everything that goes into your body, everything, because other athletes intentionally use these things to cheat. So you have to be very careful. And they would use nasal sprays and all kinds of strange things that, yes, the average person can use, but they don't use it every single day on a regiment to cheat the system. So you have to understand, because of these cheaters in boxing, you have to be very careful. If people didn't cheat and they were honest, and a guy makes an honest mistake, it wouldn't have been a problem. But we have people that literally try to abuse the system, so you have to be very careful with that. You're funny, man. Yeah, but that was, the wifey. You see, and Deontay's, he's legally married and everything, but you shouldn't probably train with your wife and kids. Nah, don't do that. It's too comfortable. You need to get away from them, as far away from possible, so you can really focus and concentrate and build up your strength and energy as you should. But that always says, sad things, most boxers take PEDs. Yes. Boxers try to find any way they can to cheat and get an edge. All of them. But Dallas, the only boxers I think that didn't take PEDs is Floyd Mayweather. We cannot be guaranteed of that either. And I'm being honest with you guys. I cannot guarantee that Floyd did not take PEDs, even though he was a guy that loved natural products over PEDs and other forms like cryotherapy or whatever. And Floyd was always testing for something. But Floyd, I can't guarantee that Floyd didn't take PEDs. I always say that. I think he didn't. And I defended him with the IV thing because I didn't think he took PEDs there. But you just never know. You just never know. The way he performed at the top level, he was taking something. Maybe it wasn't a PED, but he was taking something. And that's not just natural ability. I'm sorry. That's not, no way. It's conspiracies, but I don't think he did. He took something, though. I met Floyd, man. He's such a humble guy. He might be a humble guy, but that don't mean he's not taking something to get an edge, Don't you find it crazy how Canelo's 5'8" and he's fighting at light heavyweight? Not really. His frame is pretty big. He has a big frame. You look at Canelo, he didn't even have no neck. He's a big dude. He's compact as well, so that's why he's able to do that. But again, if you walk around 178, 180, yeah, you can get all the way up to light heavyweight. I mean, he's not going to go to 190. He's not going to get there. But since he was fighting at super welterweight, he was walking around 172, 173, 170. So Erislandy Lara walks around 175, somewhere there. They're much bigger guys than their weight class. Tyson must have been on all the unlisted ingredients back in the day. Mike Tyson, I don't know, man. They thought he was taking something. I don't know. I really don't know. But you just never know. You can't vouch for any of these guys. A lot of them have been caught. And we're talking legendary fighters, Holyfield, just the whole 9 yards. So you just never know with these guys. Yeah, Canelo's crazy though. He's a fantastic fighter, no doubt about it. I love to break him down and show you guys more reasons why he's a fantastic fighter. But there are a lot of fantastic fighters out here today. Badawis, Tyson Fury is one of them. Badawis, is it true PED messes your body up like guys' balls? Some PEDs, yeah, make your balls shrink and stuff like that. Yeah, because some PEDs, you see, your pituitary gland makes testosterone. And, okay, so with women, their genitalia gets bigger. With guys, their genitalia can get smaller with the same hormone, because what happens is now you're artificially putting the hormone in your body, and your balls don't have to make that hormone. It's your pituitary and your bones that make the hormone. With women, remember, they mostly are governed by estrogen. So when you start it's a balance between testosterone and estrogen. So when you start pushing testosterone into the system, it's like they're growing a penis. Then it's kind of like that. So it forces them to become more of a man. It's kind of weird, but it is what it is. With guys, the stuff starts to shrivel up, and they can become sterile because of too much of a PED, specifically testosterone, nandrosolone, all the testosterone-derived hormones, because it suppresses the production of testosterone in their body, and artificially the testosterone is not being produced. Now, some people, to go around that, they actually use a steroid that increases their body's production of testosterone through the pituitary. And then it also has adverse effects on them. And then you have certain people who take hormones like, I don't know if you remember this great sprinter who died of a heart attack. She died of a heart attack. She was using a particular steroid again. Steroids are dangerous, first of all, okay? Steroids tend to be anti-inflammatories. People use it also for, autoimmune diseases like lupus. But using a lot of steroid actually hurts your body in tremendous ways, because your steroids are not made to be taken like that. The body has a certain balance, and when you use these things, it literally harms your body. So yes, it messes up your body. Aslam says it's called 3 crazy workouts a day. Aslam says best PED ever, hard work. Yeah, but again, you can't push your body to break it. So you start gradually, and then you gradually pick it up. Brother says Floyd was on Adderall. That's how he was so focused. Yeah, Floyd looked for every advantage though, and he was, I wouldn't call him a cheater, but he literally tried every little dirty trick he could. I remember against Berto, he would call him up in the middle of the night and tell him stuff. He mentally would try to get in Berto's head. Like, he would look for every single advantage. So maybe he didn't necessarily cheat in terms of, using PEDs, but he was pretty dirty in the way he would do to his opponent. Once he picked a guy to fight, he would try to get in that guy's head whatever way necessary. And he had no ethics. He was unethical in that respect, I thought. Badawi says, the sad thing is even amateurs use steroids, which is dangerous for us. Man, that's crazy. Aslam says they get tested a lot at high levels, but no one tests anyone on lower levels in the amateurs. There you go. Badawi says, how was Floyd able to dodge everything, man? Like, it's crazy. Yeah, he had ridiculous reflexes. Again, I think he was on something. I don't know what it was, but he was on something. Sometimes he had unnaturally quick reflexes. And I always felt like he's taking something. I don't know what it is. It might be a natural thing. You know, Timothy Bradley also had ridiculous conditioning, really ridiculous conditioning. And then Bradley told us about nuts and almonds and actual things that you can use that work like PEDs. I think these guys figured out a way around PEDs using natural products. So I think that's how they kind of got around things. And then, you know, Floyd believes in natural products. So I think that may be one of the, and he always tried to do, you know, unorthodox things. You know, he's testing all kinds of things to get an edge. So I think that's what some of them did, but I wouldn't be surprised if he also cheated. You know, it wouldn't be a surprising thing to me because sometimes he had some punch resistance. It was just ridiculous. You punch Floyd in the head and the dude would take the punch, you know, and I'd be like, wait a minute, that's not normal, you know. So there's just certain things I looked at, and I you know, Timothy Bradley was another guy that, you know, I mean, he could really take a punch, and I'm thinking, nah, this guy it's not just his mind doing this. His body has something in it. There's something else these guys are taking. They're taking something. I'm not saying that it's illegal necessarily, but they're taking something to get their body in that kind of shape, you know. I think Floyd just learned patterns of fighters' combinations over years of practicing boxing at the womb. Just like, you know, the left hook is coming after the right hand. Yeah, I mean, Tyson Fury, you saw him rolling Deontay Wilder's punches and stuff. Yes, I understand what you're saying. But I just think that, you know, I mean, he also, you know, was able to dictate how a fighter would respond to him. So he set traps a lot. So he would have a fighter, you know, he occupy a fighter or whatever. But I'm saying also that he, you know, had some remarkable, I mean, he wasn't the fastest guy in the world, by the way. You know, there were guys a lot quicker than him and stuff. But still, you know, and you just kind of wonder about certain things. That mixed with crazy reflexes is dangerous. Yeah, he was a dangerous guy. I'm like it. But, you know, like I said before, you know, Pernell Whitaker was also an amazing fighter, but then we learned that he was using some cocaine, you know what I'm saying? It kind of puts question marks on his whole entire career, you know. But, you know, it just, you know, you wonder sometimes, these top tier guys, you know, because there's just certain things that are just tremendously wild. You know, Roy Jones Jr., fantastic reflexes, then we find out that he was using a steroid, right? Evander Holyfield, same thing, you know, very strong, tough guy, and then we learned he was using a steroid, you know. So, you know, James Toney, you know, powerful guy, heavyweight, knocking out people, steroid use, you know what I mean? So it kind of makes you wonder at times, you know, about these fighters. Maybe not a steroid, maybe something to increase your reflexes, but, you know, or something for your endurance. Some of these guys just got ridiculous endurance. And I just feel they're taking something for that. It's not just their human ability. Even guys taking punches that should knock them out. You know, we say they have crazy chins. Yeah, okay, you rolling punches, you're using technique, but then again, you get caught flush and you're still standing. I think you're taking something. You know, that elite level, you got to be taking something. And I'm not saying it's illegal, but I'm saying it's not just your will, it's not just your toughness. There's something you're giving your body to build up even more stuff. And I just believe they're taking something. Something. I don't know what it is. But you're not just elite just because, you know, I think it's over time as well. Anyway, peoples, I'm going to catch you guys later. It's about an hour in here, and I still have some other things to do with my day. It's not over in any way, shape, or form. So I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace. And remember, if you want to invite people to the channel, fine. But I'm also looking at donations to my channel. I'm very serious. I'm very serious about people donating to the channel. So send out a good word also so that I can get some good sponsors or someone to donate to the channel. I'll be very happy. I'll catch you guys later. Badawi Islam. I'm Aslam and Intangible, as well as first person who came through was for you. I can't find him now. You know who you are, my brother. Oh yes, Championship Boxing Channel. All you guys, man, it's nice to see that you